All right, welcome to the North Fork Experience, the podcast where we explore the journeys of exceptional individuals and businesses shaping our communities and industries. I'm your host, Kirk Hays, and today we have a true veteran of the Pittsburgh real estate scene. She is a luxury home specialist, a multi-year five-star realtor award winner, and a proud member of the Gold Team at Keller Williams. Please welcome Sandy Goldstein. Sandy, it's fantastic to have you. Let's dive right into your North Fork experience. Sandy, you've had an incredible career spanning 38 years in real estate. You started your professional life as an elementary teacher. How does that educational background influence your approach to guiding clients and building trust throughout the buying and selling process?
Well, teaching taught me how to be an organized person. Everything had to be done in an organized fashion. And you teach children, you have to be patient, you have to listen. And listening is one of the things I think that makes me successful, is to listen to what my client wants and go forward from there. And teaching did help me with that. Being patient with children. I loved having my third grade class at William McKinley Elementary School. Doesn't exist anymore. I taught in Penn Hills for 2.5 years until I started my family. And back then, because I'm old, there was no daycare.
Uh-huh.
And I had to quit teaching because there was no one to watch my kids. So when my husband opened a drugstore, I worked with him. And he actually launched my career by letting me I had a little stand with my cards in it. And every time a customer would come up to get a prescription filled, we talked real estate. And for 13 years, I did that. And that really launched my career.
Yeah, very interesting. What a unique background. And I can certainly attest to the patience needed for small children. I have a 4 and a 2-year-old right now, so we are overloaded with patience right now with my young children. So it's a wonderful experience. But I can see how having a whole classroom of them would certainly test your patience and make that such an important factor for you.
And each child comes to the school with a different background. We had one little boy that was diabetic, and every day at a certain time, he had to have an apple or a piece of fruit. And so it's like that for all people. We've had diabetic clients that had to have a snack while we're looking for houses. I mean, people come with their health issues, and you just have to roll with it.
Yeah, I really enjoy that you bring that up because, it's important dealing with children there, especially. But as you venture into real estate there, everyone has their own needs and their wants, and you really have to be able to, put that individual first and really see and communicate with them to see what they're really looking for and what's going to work out best for them. So you and your husband, Marshall, form the Gold Team, and your motto is performance exceeds promises. What does that motto mean in practice, and what is the key to maintaining a successful real estate partnership with your spouse?
Well, when I say performance, I go out of my way for all of the buyers and sellers I have. Sellers have needs, and they're different than what buyers have. When I work with a seller, I'll evaluate the way the house looks. If they need help, we can go through the house, and I bring people with me that will help rearrange their furniture, rehang pictures, maybe have the house painted a better color. We bring in professionals. I do not take pictures, although I enjoy photographing houses, but I get professionals to do that. I feel that my job is to list the house and get it ready for listing, and I use my group of professionals to help me. So we have painters and handymen. We have stagers that will stage the house. And of course, we do it with them. In other words, I get the stager and I may help her move a furniture around or rehang a picture that's hung too high. So the end result comes with the photographer who will take he'll take professional pictures. And when that's put online, that really helps. I think the houses sell much better when the pictures are uploaded from a professional. He does the best. He looks at a house like an artist does, and he will do the best job, better than I can do. So I will always branch out to my professionals to help me get a house sold. When it comes to buyers, that's a different story. You have buyers that maybe never bought a house before and they need help. We get mortgage originators that help define where they need to be. And I always advise people that are buyers, make sure your credit's great. The better your credit is, the better your interest rate will be when you go for a loan. And in the process, when you find the house that you love, then you have the home inspection. And if something comes up in that home inspection that you don't like, you can back out. So sometimes some buyers have to go through 5 transactions before they actually get the house of their dreams for various reasons. Sometimes there's competition. When you're making an offer, your offer might be a good one, but there might be somebody else out there that has a better offer. So, offers are taken based on the price. And right now, Pittsburgh's a great place to buy a house because you're getting more for your money.
Yep. Yeah, and I really enjoy that you bring up the network of people and professionals that you have helping you. Sometimes it does work better to just stay in your own lane and let the network of professionals that you have really do their job and take control of that aspect of it. And as far as staging the house, like you said, I can really see how that would be beneficial for you and your sellers.
And we have people that will, let's say it's an estate and the house is ready to go on the market, but all the furniture isn't going to stay. The children are going to take some of it and some of it will be donated. We arrange for all of that as well. And so it's not cut and dry. I might work with somebody for up to a year before they get their house ready for a sale.
Yeah, that's understandable. And sometimes it takes some time. And it's good to know that you're involved in that process, and you can really help them, even if the sales process might take a little bit longer than some of the other ones that you're used to.
No, we've worked with people just getting rid of furniture. Sometimes I've had people that are hoarders.
Oh, I'm sure.
They have a lot of stuff. And I've worked with people that you can't even walk through the rooms. The stuff is everywhere. And so we manage that too.
I'm sure you've seen it all, certainly. So
There's always something new. In my business, you think that you can't know it all. There's always something new that comes up. And in the South Hills where I live, all at Mount Lebanon, Upper St. Clair, Bethel Park, Scott Township, those areas, I always recommend that you always have a dye test and a sewer line test. We just did one in Mount Lebanon, an old house. A young buyer bought it, and the sewer lines were cracked, and they were full of roots from tree roots. Cost the seller $20,000 to redo the sewer line. So when you're in an older area where there's lots of trees, you want to make sure the sewer lines are clear.
Yep, I can see how that would be a problem and something that you really, could really put a snag into things there when you start getting towards closing and you're doing your inspections and some costs like that come up, and it's really an unfortunate thing. And it's good that you have experience on working around it.
The seller was able to. We weren't going to buy the house unless that got fixed, and that did get fixed, and everything worked out.
Happy to hear that. So you've been consistently voted a 5-star realtor for customer satisfaction. What is the single most important habit or strategy you've maintained over 4 decades that ensures such high client satisfaction year after year?
The efforts I put through, the referrals I give them, I keep in touch with them. They may have bought a house from me 10 years ago. I send beautiful, large magnetic calendars every year, and I make my calls every day. If you're going to keep in touch with your past clients, they're the best sources of your new clients.
Yep.
I work with families sometimes where I've sold a house to one member of a family, and then they refer me to other members of their families. So I keep in contact with my past clients, and I think that's what keeps me going.
Yep. Consistency is so important. Like you said, getting up, and making the calls, putting in the effort to show those people that they really mattered to you. And then down the road, those referrals can come in, like you said, because the people have seen that you're willing to put in the effort and, put your best foot forward to giving them the best possible outcome when you're working.
And I do other things too. In the neighborhood I live in, I arrange for a neighborhood get together every year. I hire the Upper St. Clair Fire Department to come, and I pay for that. And last year I paid for the food. We all got together and we had a great neighborhood get together in August. It's just before the kids went to school. And I do that to promote me, but to also have fun with the kids in the neighborhood. We've been
That's
in our neighborhood a long time, and I make sure everybody knows who I am. And so that has helped my career.
That's great to hear, and that's so neighborly that you're getting yourself out there, but also taking care of the people in your neighborhood and stuff like that. I'm sure they really appreciate that, and it really
Well,
has a lot of value
we
for
have a
them.
nice neighborhood, and I think I've done that since the beginning of my career. I would do things like buy flags, and the 4th of July, my husband and I would get up like 6 in the morning and put flags at every single house. So when people woke up, the whole neighborhood had flags everywhere.
Nice. Yep. I can see
I
how
don't do
that.
that anymore, but I did do that for a long time.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you really put in the effort to bring people together, and that just shows, why you've had such a great amount of success in a tough industry like this. So, moving on a little bit, your business spans a diverse portfolio, including residential, farms, and investment properties across Allegheny, Butler, Westmoreland, Washington, and Beaver counties. How do you maintain deep market expertise across such a wide geographic and property type range?
Well, I keep up with my real estate professional magazines. I keep up with what's going on in the world because in farms, some of the farmers that I worked with had leases with different companies. And so the leases, you can sell a farm, but you don't have to sell the lease. You can
Yep.
keep the mineral rights. And so my first farm was referred to me by an attorney that I work with in my networking groups. I used to belong to 3 networking groups. I'm down to 1. But the people that I know from these networking groups refer business to me. And that's how I got my first farm. And farm people are great people. They're honest and they always pay in cash.
Uh,
We've had our first farm was in Westmoreland County, and the first person that saw it bought it. I had farms in Fayette County. The Kendai farm was a wonderful farm. We sold it, and then the people that bought it wanted to put a commercial industrial park on this property. It was like 159 acres. Well, the deal didn't work out for the company that bought the farm, so I relisted it. So I listed the same farm twice in a row, and that was interesting.
uh-huh.
But farm people are great people. I've really enjoyed farm people. In fact, I had a gal she didn't buy a farm, but she is a nurse and she lived near Clarion. And she came to me. I don't even remember how she got to me. We looked all over. I went to many different counties with her, and she definitely liked land. We found her a property in Pine Township, and what she liked about it, it was more like what she grew up with. And it had a 4-car garage, it had a duck pond, and the house. She loved it, but we had looked. I'm telling you, we were all over many different counties before she found the one she liked.
Uh-huh.
And she bought it, but she liked the rural look. She didn't want to be in a neighborhood.
Yeah, you're speaking my language there a little bit, Sandy. I like the rural look up here too. Most of my, I bought my house, but most of my property investment since then's been bare land. So that's kind of how I like to do things too. So that's nice that
She
you get to
liked
work
she liked
in
land.
that
She
line of
didn't
work
want to
some
be
too.
too close to her neighbor. And she now has 2 little boys, and she's very happy where she is.
Very
And the
happy to hear
schools are
that.
good up in Pine Township, but it's kind of a rural feel,
Uh-huh.
and she's happy there.
Yeah, happy to hear that you were able to make that work for her. So as
Well,
a
like I
luxury home
said,
specialist,
I
yep.
go wherever my client wants to go. So if they want Butler County, Beaver County, they want to look at Westmoreland County, the 2 of us, my husband and I, we go wherever they want us to go. And we've made lasting friendships over the years.
Very nice that you're willing to put in that effort for your clients, for sure.
Well, and then too, being my husband's a pharmacist, he was always, he would open the drugstore if somebody got sick at night, 11 o'clock at night, he'd go back down and deliver it.
Uh-huh.
So, I learned from him also. how important it is to take care of people.
Yeah, those personal connections really mean a lot. Can help you out long term there for sure. So, as a luxury home specialist, what is the key difference in marketing and negotiating strategy required when dealing with a high end residential listing versus a typical investment property?
Well, it's different. I dealt with a company. Actually, we had worked with them when they came to Pittsburgh, Rice Energy, and the Rice family. They were very nice to work with. First, they rented, and finally, they bought a house for me, and then they bought another house for me just before they sold out. They sold the company, but then they're still part of the company. I think it was Range Resources, and then they ended up getting on the board, and they're still part of this big company that deals in gas and oil. The Rices were very particular. I sold their house. It was a $2 million house, but we sold it to them. I think it was about $1.6 million. And they had looked at it a year before, but weren't ready to buy. Finally, when they decided it was time to buy, they went back to this house I had shown them a year prior, and she gutted the entire house. It was gorgeous. She redid it. She sold it with the furniture, and she was particular about the pictures. In fact, she got a photographer that I still use, and she wanted everything just so. And I do what they asked me to do. Whatever I'm told to do, I do. We didn't need a lockbox. I was there for every showing, and I gave her my expertise, and I still keep in touch with the owner. And she even said she wishes she could come back to that house. It was so pretty.
Uh-huh.
I really go out of my way with all of my clients, but I think the high end wants more pampering. Depending, of course, on the personality. I shouldn't say that. Every personality is different. Some people don't want pampering. They just want to deal in numbers.
Uh-huh.
And other people want the pampering. I'll go whichever way they want me to go. But they do need a lot of attention, which I do give them. And corporate people, they're more of a numbers person. Everything's about the numbers. I have one listing right now that is on 5 acres, and it needs a little updating, but you don't find 5 acres in Upper St. Clair.
Very difficult, yeah.
There is nothing like that house, and it's contemporary. It's beautiful. You can look out of any window in that house and see the acreage. It's gorgeous. And so we've had a lot of showings, and it just takes a little more time sometimes to sell a high-end house, unless it's updated. The Rice's house was totally updated. There was nothing left that wasn't updated. But the house I have in Upper St. Clair, it needs a little updating. But it's the acreage that makes it valuable.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it goes back to the like we talked about a little bit there before. Everyone has their own personalities and stuff, and houses have their own personalities, even if you want to dig into that. So it's just matching those two personalities together and making sure your client gets exactly what they need and what they want there. So very interesting.
Yeah, you have to listen to what they need.
Communication.
And try to help them that way.
Absolutely. So having been in the industry since 1987, you've witnessed massive changes from the rise of the internet to the current pace of technology. What is the most significant change you've seen, and how has the Gold team adapted its strategy to remain successful throughout these evolutions?
The digital market is here. I don't have papers. When I started in real estate, the big thing was the fax machine. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh my goodness, you can put a piece of paper in and it goes. It was like unbelievable to me. We used to have computers that just shuffled paper. You didn't get a picture. If I wanted to show a house, I would have to get the map out so I'd know where it was, blow it up, and then I could take a dry run. Today, I just take my phone, punch in the address, and away I go. We couldn't do that way back.
Yep.
And then, the reams of paper that you would get when you were trying to find houses for people, they were blank. There was no picture. And if I'm listing a house, I'd go to the house, take pictures, take it to maybe a drugstore and have the pictures printed. And then I would make up my own feature sheets. Now you have Canva. You have all these, you have Chat GBT. You can use Chat GBT to help describe a house. If you describe it and you want it to be more elaborate, I use Chat GBT for that.
Absolutely.
I just have to make sure it works.
Yep.
Doesn't always work.
Yep.
But it does help. So we didn't have any of that when I started. Everything was paper. The company had all the papers, the agreement of sale, everything that you needed was in a folder at the office. I don't even have to go to the office.
Yep.
I have everything on my computer. I don't need paper. It depends on the client I'm working with. Now, if I'm working with people in their 80s, they may not want to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can still print out the old-fashioned way and go to their house and go over it with them, paper and pen. But today, most people do not do that. We do contracts online. We do everything's online. And the younger the person is, the easier it is because they know what to do.
Yeah, they've been down that road and grew up with the online world for sure. So I can see how that makes things
cut time. You don't have to run around. I used to write a contract, deliver it to the client. When we had an offer, we'd go to that client's house and meet the other agent and present the offers. And then if there were multiple offers, you take the other agents into another room and you discuss the offers with the seller in person. That doesn't happen anymore. In some ways, that was nice. I like that.
Yep. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. It's especially in real estate, it still takes that personal touch to connect people with properties. But the way technology is evolving, it makes a lot of things a lot more efficient than they used to be, and it simplifies some things. But it's still important.
Corners, though. If you're dealing with a young person that's never purchased a house before, even if they're good online, it's nice to go over the contract with them paragraph by paragraph so they understand what they're signing. A lot of people sign papers they never read.
Yep.
That's a minus. And then you've got your older people that hadn't purchased a house in maybe 50 years. It's nice to print it out, all the pages out, and go to their house and explain it to them. And they like that.
Yep, absolutely. And it's good.
That's where I meet people where they are.
Yep, it's good to understand that, you can meet people regardless of how they want to do things. You can, you're adaptable to do it both ways. So that's very interesting for sure. So you are a fellow Clarion University Golden Eagle graduate. I know I was excited to talk to you because
it wasn't a normal school. It wasn't a normal school when I went there, but it was just Clarion State College. Because I graduated probably before you were born.
I was born in 86, so it would have been, I'm guessing it was around that time.
No, it was 1967.
Gotcha, yep.
That's how long ago it was. I don't even know if Bechtel is still there. I'm sure it's changed since I was there.
Well, it's changed a lot since I've been there. So yeah, I'm sure it's changed quite a bit since then. So how does that community influence, that community connection to Western Pennsylvania? How does that influence your approach to serving the Western Pennsylvania community?
Well, things are in Clarion. When I was there, everything was slower. People said hello. Small community. I met a lot of the townspeople back then. The wines, I don't know if they were there, probably not. They had a store on Main Street, and if I wanted to buy a pair of blue jeans, I could go there. They invited me to their home for dinner. One of the Wine brothers was a lawyer up in Clarion. So I got to know the townspeople. And I think that relationship is just wonderful. You don't see that in big cities as much. So that's probably why I take such good care of my neighbors in my neighborhood, because we're close.
Yeah, I really enjoyed my time there. It's it's a real small town feel, but you still get a good education there, and I really enjoyed it for sure. So it was nice to see that we had that in common. So looking ahead, what key trends or shifts do you anticipate in the greater Pittsburgh real estate market, especially concerning the demand for investment properties or the integration with new technologies?
I think I need to do what you're doing. I need to do some blogs.
Yeah,
I think I need to get information out to people, and blogging might be the way. So you might be able to help me with that.
yeah, absolutely.
I also do a lot of networking. I still network with a group of women. It's a great group of professional women, and they're my resources. We have attorneys, we have a pediatrician in our group, we have a massage therapist, we have a travel agent. This close knit group of women, just it's phenomenal. I help them, they help me, and we have a mortgage girl that does mortgages. And once you see we each have a chance to speak at our meetings, and then you get to know these women, and then you can refer business to them because you trust them. And trust is the big word. If you're going to do a good job, the people that you work with need to trust you. So you do need to you need to do a great job, or they won't come back. So
Absolutely.
trust is important.
Yeah, your network is just so important, and having those good people that you can really trust, and you feel comfortable pushing business towards, because they do a good job, and it's just a really meaningful thing to have behind you there. And I can tell you too that you mentioned doing these podcasts. I've really enjoyed these. It helps get your message out there, get your voice out there, and I've really expanded my network by doing these too. So if you're looking to do a little bit more of that in the future, I can certainly help you get started there and help you get your name out there a little bit more. So that's
I
that's
love
very
that.
interesting.
Yep. I told everybody at my WBN group that I'm doing a podcast with Kirk. And so if it's recorded, I'll be able to send it to them.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll cut up some clips for you from this. We'll get you the whole podcast, and yeah, you'll be able to use that for your networking for sure. So we appreciate you joining on here.
How did you find me?
We do a lot of work through LinkedIn. I've got a co-founder there that she's on LinkedIn quite a bit. Wants me to picks a few people to reach out to. People that might be influential that we can bring on. And we're kind of focused on the real estate niche right now. So she found you through searching around on LinkedIn and thought you'd be an interesting person to have aboard. And I'm certainly glad she did. It's been a good conversation.
Didn't work?
Perfect. Yeah, that's what it's there for, right? That outreach. But Sandy, this conversation has been incredibly insightful. Truly showcases your remarkable longevity and dedication to client performance, and your deep commitment to the Pittsburgh community. Your North Fork experience offers powerful lessons on building a lasting business legacy. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us today.
It's been nice meeting you.
Before we wrap up, for our listeners in the greater Pittsburgh area who are looking for a trusted, experienced realtor to help them buy or sell, whether it's a residential, a farm, or an investment property, what's the best way for them to reach out to you or learn more about the Gold Team?
Well, they can use my mobile number, 412-721-0306. My phone is 24/7. That's the best way to get in touch with me.
Excellent. We will make sure we include those notes in our show details for easy access. That's all for this episode of the North Fork Experience. A huge thank you again to our incredible guest, Sandy Goldstein. And thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep experiencing all that our communities have to offer. Thank you.
Thank you.